All right, so this is the second part of graphing rational functions, and we're going to do this one without the calculator. I've left it written up here already. The first thing we're going to want to do is just go ahead and factor this. So I've got x plus 4 over, we get 2x plus 1, x plus 4. So if you're doing it algebraically or doing it by hand, the first thing you're going to find is the wholes. Now the whole comes from things that cancel, so these x plus 4's cancel. So I get a whole at x plus 4 equals 0, or in other words, x equals negative 4. The next one you're going to find is the vertical asymptote. Now the vertical asymptote comes from the 0 of the denominator. The x plus 4's already went away, so the only thing left in the denominator is this 2x plus 1. So I'm going to take 2x plus 1 equals 0 and solve it down. So minus 1 on both sides, I get that 2x equals negative 1, or in other words, that x equals negative 1/2. The last one is going to be horizontal asymptote. Now, the horizontal asymptote is the one that gets really, really kooky, because you have to remember this little table, right? If the degrees on top and bottom are the same, then it is the ratio of the leading coefficients. But if the one on the bottom is bigger, in this case, since the bottom is degree 2 and the top is degree 1, if the degree of the bottom is bigger, then my horizontal asymptote is always at y equals 0. And so that's all we need to remember for this guy. In order to find the graphs, you would do test points. And if you remember, the test points come from being one on either side of your vertical asymptote. So you choose any of them you want. Oh, I'm sorry, that was supposed to be in a different color. You're going to choose any values you want as long as one of them is bigger than negative 1/2 and one of them is smaller than negative 1/2. I'm just going to be really nice to myself. I'm going to choose x equals negative 1 and x equals 0. So I'm going to take this negative 1, I'm going to plug it into here. So I'm going to get 1 over 2 times negative 1 plus 1. Or in other words, this is going to be 1 over negative 2 plus 1, or negative 1. Now remember that your coordinate points always are what you put in, comma, what you got out. We plugged in negative 1, and we got out negative 1. So there's one of my coordinate points. The next one I'm going to plug in x equals 0. So 1 over 2 times 0 plus 1, or in other words, 1 over 1, which gets me positive 1. My coordinate point again is what you put in, comma, what you got out. We plugged in 0, we got out positive 1. So you're just going to plot these two up and get your little branches for your graph. I think that once you have these three things, it's easier just to plug it into the graphing calculator and let it do it for you, but I certainly don't mind which way you do it.